Hey there, we're going to be going over how to replace the potentiometers in a GameCube controller. This might be because you have PODE and you don't want it, or you don't have PODE and you do want it, or maybe your potentiometers are just really messed up and you need new ones. But you like the way your stickbox feels, so you don't want to replace the whole thing. It's not a very involved process, you just need soldering tools and a tri-wing. And as you've probably noticed, the stickbox is really dirty. I go over cleaning it in another video if that is something you're interested in doing yourself. First things first, you're just gonna take off this back panel, make sure that you unhook all of the wires and move everything out of the way as you unhook it so nothing gets pulled. The trigger pads here, they just slide right off after you push the wires out of the way. And then after that, you can see we've exposed the back of the stick box here. Now normally you don't have to remove the stick box itself. You can take off just the potentiometers, but since I'm going to be cleaning this stick box later, I'm also taking the stick box out. Alright, now we're going to actually take out the potentiometers. You just put a little pressure on the sides here and they snap right off. Now you can see they're sort of hinging from the motherboard because they're soldered in. But now that they're unhinged from the stick box, we're going to desolder it using a desoldering tool. This one here is really cool. I just loosen up the solder and then put the pump up next to it and fire away, and it sucks up the solder. Makes things really nice and easy for me. There's also like copper mesh desoldering tools. It's whatever works best for you. You can just pull them out once you've desoldered them. However, this one on the side was giving me some issues, so I finagled with it by putting the soldering iron up, loosened the solder as I pulled on it, and it came right out. And there you go, you have your potentiometers. You can trash them or keep them or do whatever you want with them. Now my donor potentiometers are going to be coming from this new in-box Wiimote that I got. You can get them for pretty cheap off of eBay or whatever. Since I really just need the potentiometers, and I'm going to save the stick box for later. I don't really care about the wires or anything, so just to make dealing with it easier, I clipped off the wires. Open it up with a tri-wing, pull it apart, and there's what we need. There's the stick box and the potentiometers. Even though it's a Type 2 stick box, the potentiometers are the same, so I'm able to use them and swap them in on the Type 3 stick box controller. Another round of desoldering, and we'll be able to pull them off just like we did with our controller potentiometers. Alright, we're going to snap these off the stick box just like we did with the controller earlier. Like I said, it's the exact same process. Alright, potentiometers taken out, and I'm just going to toss this stick box in my big box of GameCube controller parts. I'm going to stick the stick box back into place since I took it off for cleaning. I'm going to screw that back in nice and tight, and we're ready to put the potentiometers onto our stick box. Snap them into place the same way you pull them off. They just press right back on, and then we can solder them into place. Press your iron onto the lead so that the solder around it melts, and then press your solder into the melted solder. It's best to avoid touching the iron with the solder directly, but this is just best practice. It's not the end of the world if you do it the other way. But once all the pins are soldered up, you're good to go, and you have new potentiometers on your GameCube controller. Looks beautiful. Also, look how beautiful that stick box is. Again, if you want to see me clean that, so you can do it yourself, I'll link in the description to that video.